Oh. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. My name is Josh Aarons, and I want to get right to it because I am really excited about this episode. I had a really good interview with my friend Jake Major. Now, Jake, he's a guy I used to work with, and I kind of knew his story back then, but I didn't really know until I had this interview. So that's what makes this interview really exciting for me, is because I learned a lot about this guy that I didn't know before. And it just goes to show you how you don't really know someone even when you think you do. But, awkward pause. For those of you who don't know who he is, Jake is a dancer, a tumbler, a tricker. Like, he does all kinds of mad stuff, and he does it for music videos, commercials, live performances, tours. Like, this guy is the real deal, and I didn't really know how much of a real deal he was until this interview, and it's really not an accident that he is where he is now. So I'm really excited for this interview, and I hope you enjoy it as well. So let's get on with the show.
From Los Angeles, California, it's the ClubZero Podcast with your host, Josh Aarons. Take it back real smooth. One hop this time. One hop this time. Slide to the left. Slide to the right. Cha-cha real smooth.
Yo.
How's it going?
What's up, man? Chilling like a villain, dude.
What you up to, man?
Nothing, man. I'm just chilling. I just got done training a client, and I'm just in between clients right now. So yeah, that's it, really.
Oh, that's cool. Well, that's good to hear that you're still getting some work during all this lockdown shit.
Man, it's been a blessing, because it's been wild, because there was a plethora of work that was stripped from me because of all this going on. But I've been blessed to also obtain some work because of it as well.
Well, that's good. That's good, man. Good to hear.
Yep.
So what have you been doing during the quarantine? How have you been staying sane?
Well, basically, like I said, a lot of my work was stripped away from me. Because I work in the entertainment industry. A lot of the things I do are done on sets or around big crowds, etc. So once all that went out the window, I've been doing online privates. I still have a couple clients who would like me to train them, or like their kids or whatever, if they have space. And pretty much my day, every day, it goes wake up, exercise, eat, go train a little bit if I can, watch some movies, train a little bit more, and then watch more movies. So I just kind of been kicking it, and then whatever comes. So yeah, man, it's been weird, but it's also been nice being able to reconnect with yourself, and like being able to reconnect with like my health, because I don't have all these gigs and these shows coming up. I get to kind of just like take care of my body, take care of my mind, relax, rehab, chill, just walk around outside a little bit. So it's kind of been cool in a way.
Yeah, there are some positives to all this stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of people just didn't realize how much they just needed to take a breath for a second.
Without a doubt, yeah. Like, we're so ingrained into the hustle and bustle of like our daily routine of our go to work or go to school, and then just barely have enough time to do the things we want, and barely have enough time. Oh, I don't have time to eat right. I don't have time to exercise. Whatnot. Like, we're just adjudicated this lump sum of time, which now I feel like it helps us focus on all those other things. At least in my experience, it has helped me focus on myself and my own well-being, mental well-being, physical well-being, all around. So yeah,
for sure.
It's been kind of dope.
Yeah. Is there anything that like you kind of stumbled on during this time that helps you that you wouldn't have otherwise?
I think grounding myself. So like there's like this field by my house that is pretty like no one really goes there, but just going there and just kind of walking with no shoes on the grass and just kind of chilling there and just like stretching out a little bit. And then also, since there's no one who wants to actually go outside and go to the park, I bought a boomerang, and it's tight. So I've been playing catch with myself. Like it's super ill.
A boomerang.
Yeah,
that's
boomerang.
That's one of those things where it's like, oh, I'd love a boomerang, and you never get it. You actually fucking got a boomerang.
Yeah, because I wanted to play catch with a football or a frisbee. But my friends, they're all paranoid. They're like, no, man, we shouldn't go outside. We shouldn't. And I'm just like, okay, I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, I want to be outside. It's nice outside and it's hot where I live. So I just bought a boomerang because I'm like, I'm going to just play catch with myself.
Yeah, I feel like God has a sense of humor sometimes because as soon as we're all like locked in, the weather gets beautiful.
Yeah, dude, I want to be at the beach so bad right now.
Yeah. So, for people who might see this who don't know, you make your career in the entertainment business, dancing, tricking, all that cool stuff. You've been in music videos, commercials, all that awesome shit. Like, when and how did you initially catch that bug? Was this like something that was always there early on, or like, how did you get started on that path?
Okay, so I started off. So, all right, first off, the reason that I am here today in Los Angeles doing all the stuff I'm doing is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Hell yeah.
So there's a scene in there where like they're fighting like the ooze putties, like Ivan Ooze's his little minions, right?
Yeah.
And like the Pink Ranger gets hit, like she just gets get hit, and then the Blue Ranger just sees her, he goes, oh no, and then that fool just does mad back handsprings over to her, like instead of just walking or running, he just does mad back handsprings over there, and he's just like, foo, 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 foo. Are you okay? And I'm like, you could have walked, but no, like that was so dope. I was like, where do I learn that? So I started like kind of like teaching myself how to like do flips of sorts, like just like in my backyard, and then like I would jump off the diving boards at the pool and whatnot. And then I found breaking, like breakdancing. There was like a couple guys who did it at like the YMCA by where I lived, and I was like, that's cool. It's like it's kind of like Power Rangers. So I started dabbling in that and kind of just learning how to break. And then through falling in love with like breaking and like hip hop culture and just like all of that, in high school, the gymnastics coach saw me breakdancing at homecoming, and he comes up to me and he's like, you should try gymnastics. And I'm like, okay. Like, for those of you who don't know, Illinois and Texas are the only states in America that offer like high school gymnastics as just like a sport that you can pick up in high school.
Yeah.
So I joined gymnastics, and on that gymnastics team, there was like a couple of the juniors and seniors when I was a freshman who were also breakdancers. And they just right away, they're like, oh, the freshman kid who's breaking, oh, he's cool, man, da-da-da. So I started to hang out with them. I started to go to all like the battles and the events in my city, in Chicago. And I was like, oh, this is really dope. This is really cool. And at first I didn't know that you could really make a career out of breaking or dancing in general. Like, I saw You Got Served, and I thought that was life-changing for me. I was like, oh, that's sick. Like, they're in movies. And I saw the step-ups and everything and da-da-da-da-da. And then in college, like, I did gymnastics all the way through college. And my friend, he moved to LA when he was done with college in 2014, also when I was done. And he's like, yo, man, come out with me. And I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, I'll go. So I came to LA. We went to a couple events, a couple battles, a couple of the training spots, and people came up to me. They're like, yo, like, what are you doing in 2 weeks? And I'm like, oh, I'm going back home. And they're like, oh, man, like, I had a job for you. And I'm like, a job? What do you mean? And they're like, oh, man, like, there's this gig, like, we were going to perform at, like this festival, and like, you know, I could use someone who does what you do. Like, I need a breakdancer. And I'm like, a job? I'm like, how often I can do this as a job? They're like, yeah, man, like, this is LA, it's the entertainment industry. And they're like, you can do flips too. Like, so you can do stunts. Like, you could do a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm just like, oh, word? So like, then I was like, oh, it's a wrap, dude. Like, I gotta come out here, dude. So I took like probably 6 months to kind of save up. Like, I was teaching at the time and like doing shows back in Chicago. And then battling as well. I took like about like 6 months. I just saved up and then I came out here, dude. So yeah, kind of a lengthy story, but like that, I kind of knew I always wanted to do something like this, but I didn't know how pragmatic that would actually be in my life. Like, I didn't know it was actually attainable until I came out here for the first time. So
Right.
yeah, and then yeah, so that's basically what happened. And now here we are, 4 years strong. We here.
Dude, for sure. I never heard that part of your story. That's pretty dope, dude. So it kind of sounds like, I feel like a lot of people find themselves in this position, especially younger people, where they kind of have an idea of what they want to do. They just have no idea where to start or how to do it. So once you kind of saw, oh, there's a path here, and then you come out to LA after you save up, like, then what? Was it just like guns a-blazing? Were you still figuring out the path?
All right, so check this out. This is even more like kind of crazy, and like, this is how I know that like I'm meant to be here.
Okay.
So there's like thousands of people who come out here like every day, and they want to do like whatever. Like, oh, I want to be an actor, I want to be a personal trainer, I want to be a singer, whatever, a dancer, whatever. And nobody really has a plan. And the only plan that I had was, I was teaching basically like a dance camp at UCLA for like 3 weeks. So on that date, I was like, all right, a couple of days before that, like, that's when I'll drive out. And they were gonna put me up at UCLA for like a couple of weeks while I was teaching that. But then after that, like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. But when I first came here, I had just like a couple friends who I just met through, like, I had came out to California one time before in 2012 just for a battle when I was 19, and I just was battling everybody and da-da-da, and I had made some mutual friends and whatnot. So I knew a couple people, just a few though. And I was like, yo, I'm in town, what's up? So we went and we went to see a movie. It was dope. That movie, Dope, with Shamik Moore. So we went and we watched that, and then he was like, oh, yo, one of my friends is gonna come. And I'm like, cool. And then his friend was like, yo, man, what are you into? I'm like, yo, man, I'm a break dancer, I'm a tricker. Like, he's like, what type of music are you into? I'm like, I'm into hip hop, house music, you know, grunge, metal. He's like, dog, me too. And then we started just rattling off artists that like other people like you wouldn't really know unless you were like a hip hop head. It's like, oh, I like Run the Jewels. Oh, yo, I like, you know, Black Stars. Like, oh, I like old stuff. I like, you know, Big Pun and Mos Def. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's the type of wave that like I'm on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And instantly, we vibe crazy. And then he's like, yo, where do you live? And I'm like, in my car. He's like, what do you mean? How long have you lived here? I'm like, I've lived here for about 45 minutes. He's like, yo, like, he's like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, oh, I'm teaching this camp at UCLA. He's like, dog, he's like, after that, he's like, guess what? My roommate just bailed on me and he moved back to Florida. So I have an open room and you should take it. Oh. And I'm like, word. So yeah, right after I did the camp at UCLA, I actually ended up, I left a week early because I just wanted to be out in LA, be out and about. I moved in with like my friend, my very good friend. He's now, I would say, my best friend. At the time we lived in Sherman Oaks, and then he moved in with his brother, and then I moved in with these other friends of mine who they actually were on America's Best Advanced Crew, break skate. The guys, they like do roller skates and they dance on skates. Very good friends of mine. And then I lived with them, and then I kind of bounced all over, and then now I actually live back with my best friend because situations align themselves. And it's been really dope because he makes music and now I'm his DJ. And then I also dance for him and I produce a little bit for him. So it's really ill. So I get to dance and like do all the stuff that I like to do in the live show. So it's really been crazy. Also, oh yeah. So the day after I move into the house,
Yeah.
it's like my first day out of the UCLA program. First day actually in LA with no like plan. I'm just like, okay, what do I need? I need an agent. And one of the people at UCLA was like, oh yeah, you know, this agency is having open calls. You should just go. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I go and there's like, yo, dog, there's like 700 people there. And like, I walk in and I just kind of walk in, I sit down and people look at me, they give me like one of these. It's like a Mean Girls moment. Like, and I'm just like, yo, what is this? And I'm like, everyone's all like dressed all crazy. And, you know, like these girls have their makeup. And I'm like, yo, like you guys are, I'm there in like the same thing I always wear when I go battle, like my black Adidas pants, my black mock neck, and my headspin hat. And I'm just like, whoa, what is this? But anyways, long story short, I go through the audition. They keep me till the end. And then like 2 weeks later, they call me. They're like, yeah, we're going to sign you. So I'm like, I'm telling people who I meet and they're like, how long have you lived here? I'm like, I've lived here like a week, 2 weeks. And they're like, and you already got an agent? Like there's people who've been here for years who like, they don't have representation. And I'm like, oh, tight. So I jumped like a big gap. And then people are like, yo, you have a car, you have a roommate, and you have an agent. You are 10 steps ahead of anybody who came here. I'm like, oh, that's all what you're supposed to have. Like, I mean, I had a car, like that's about it. But like, I magically like filled each one of these little check boxes without even really knowing that I was supposed to do all of that. And all this happened like literally right when I moved to LA. And also like during my time like at the UCLA program, that's when I called Flyers, which is where I met you, started coaching there, yeah, and then now here we are.
Dude, so damn, I'm glad we did this. I didn't know all this awesome shit about your story.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's been a ride.
So it sounds like you just kind of had an idea. I want to do this. And you're like, fuck it, I'm going. And
yes,
that opened up doors. Like I know in LA, especially, there are a million different beliefs and this and that. But like, is it luck? Is it fate? What do you think is guiding you? Or I don't know.
I think it's a combination of a few things. Like the first one, like being preparation. Like as much as I like now look back at it, as much as I would like to think that a lot of that was luck, I really was prepared for a lot of it. Like the audition, I had been training and battling for years, and like I had already like done street shows before. So like just going out, doing one round in front of a table of people really wasn't all that nerve-wracking for me. And I killed it because like in my day coming up, my motivation was like battling. So it's like, I gotta beat them. I gotta beat that person. I gotta do better than what they are doing. Or if it is a show format, like I gotta make these people think I'm so amazing that they want to pay me money, a lot of money. So I would say definitely just like preparation is like half the battle. And then like the other 40% is just showing up. Like it's just going and just like being there, because there's a lot of people, I'm not gonna front, there's a lot of people who jump into, and not just with dancing, but with, I think LA in general, they jump into it without being prepared at all. And like, they don't even go to half of the things that could like bring them like immense opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of times there have been auditions that I've went to and there have just been barely any people. So they've just picked me because it's like, oh, these are the people who showed up. All right, you guys are going to get it. And like, I've heard talk about, oh, people are like, I'm not going to go to that. That's a waste of time. Or that's a blah, 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 blah. That's whack. But I'm like, dog, if you just show up. So I would say like preparation is like 50% of it. Showing up is 40% of it. And then the other 10% is just like, you know, luck or whatever. I don't know. It's been kind of crazy, especially for me, because I feel like so much of my journey, like things have fallen into line very kind of in order, like strangely in order, and strangely like when I exactly at the point when I need them to fall in line. Like there have been, I would say, probably 2 or 3 times when I thought I was gonna like either run out of money or like a living situation wasn't working out. And then literally, dude, magically something would happen. Or like I would get a big opportunity. Even literally just at the beginning of this whole COVID crisis, I recently, not really recently, but I filmed a commercial in December. And then like I think it was probably the second week into all of this when it started happening, I get a call from my agent that they say, hey, that commercial that you filmed, they want to pick it up for another cycle of airing. For those of you that don't know, what usually happens is like when you do a commercial, it will run for a specified period of time and you will get paid for that period of time. And then once it's done, like it's over. But they just called me and like, hey, remember that one you did? They want to air it for another 6 months, which means you get a bonus of X amount $1,000. And I'm like, oh, this is sick, dude.
That's perfect.
So, dude, I'm not going to front, like that super saved me as I was figuring out like, you know, what was going on or what my fate was, because I didn't know what I was going to do. Damn. So yeah. So but yeah, I would say just preparation and showing up is most of it. And then, I mean, with LA and entertainment in general, it is like specifications, like look, and like, you know, really the thing I hear the most is, oh, it wasn't what they were looking for. Because I've done things where I've gone and I've done a tremendous job, but then like people will come up to me, even like the people running the audition, they're like, hey, you're great. That just wasn't what we were looking for. So it kind of, at the beginning, it kind of sucked. I kind of got discouraged at points, but then when, like I said, if you're prepared, when the opportunity comes along where it's like, hey, they're looking for a white male who is 5'10", who can do a backflip, I'm super prepared and I'm super going to kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, everything's a numbers game, and I feel like not enough people realize that part of it. Because, like, if you're the best dancer in the room, but they're looking for a Brazilian with dreadlocks, like, you're out of luck. You know what I mean? Like, the best advice my dad ever gave me, or that I remember, is he was just telling me everything's probability. And he's like, if you go up and ask a girl out and she says no, like, okay, we'll go ask out 9 more girls and one of them will say yes. I'm like,
exactly.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, yo.
So
it's definitely a numbers game.
Is there anyone that maybe you looked up to from afar, or someone that you met along the way? Or is there anyone that you emulate, either from an artistic standpoint or like you the way they run the business side of things?
That's kind of a multifaceted question, so I'm going to answer it in a number of ways.
Go for it.
First off, as far as just what I do, there were a bunch of dancers who like I thought were really, really dope. And then when I came out here, I like either ran into them at auditions or at the clubs, just like battling, or like we would do jobs together. Actually, my very first job when I moved here was with two of the guys from You Got Served. Yeah, one of the guys, he's actually on the DVD cover and the poster doing the like little hand freeze. He's a good friend of mine now. So it was nuts because I saw him dancing. I was like, yo, it's like, I know this guy. Like, yo, what did he do? And then he did like his headspins to like his like hand pose. And I was like, yo, that looks like the dude from You Got Served. And then he's like, yeah, bro, that's me on the cover. And I'm like, oh, no way. I used to like watch you like when I was like 12, 13. I used to replay like all those battle scenes crazy. He's like, yeah, man, I'm Tails. Nice to meet you, man. So like, shout out Tails. He's a very good friend of mine now. And a bunch of those guys, like a lot of those guys from that movie, actually, I had the pleasure to kind of meet like later in my life and just like get to tell them like, yo, like you guys really, really inspired me as a kid to just like do what I do and just kind of kill it and just really just push myself. And like they're really like appreciative and like they really respect that. So I've ran into a lot of people who kind of inspired me along the way, especially in my youth. There's so many, like there's so many to name as far as what I do. But then as far as mindset, I feel like I look up to Kanye West a lot, dude. Because, dude, like I know everybody thinks he's crazy, but it's like, yo, everything he said that he was gonna do, he did it, and he did it like really well. Or at least to the point where it's like it wasn't like a joke. Like some people, like whenever there's certain artists where they try to branch out into other realms, people are like, like, you know, oh, this musician wants to act. It's like, you're kind of trash. Like this dude, like actor wants to make music. No, but then it's like with Kanye, it's like most things that he's touched, I feel like have gone pretty well. Like Yeezys, and you know, even his gospel album, like it was pretty well received by a lot of people. But he's unapologetic in like what he wants. So I think that that's dope, because also I have a lot of ambitions as well that sometimes people are like, oh, I don't know. But then it's like, I do it. And then it's like, oh, that was actually dope. And I feel like people always told him like, oh, you're just a producer. It's like, you can't rap. But then he made a bunch of rap albums. Oh, I want to get into fashion. Oh, you can't do that. And now like Yeezys are like, you know, they sell like crazy. So I think that's inspiring to me. And he's also from Chicago. So like that is just dope to me. Yeah. And then also on the other side of that is like from the Chicago hip hop scene, like Mick Jenkins and Chance the Rapper, because they do everything, like, or at least they started off everything. Chance now obviously is like a phenomenon, but Mick is still kind of like the underground king. They did everything independently. Like I was at like their shows from like the get-go, and just like seeing them spread their art by like word of mouth, and like being in the community, and just being in like the kind of circles of like people who would like the things that you do, and just watching it rise to just like a phenomena. That was really crazy to me, because all that was going on as I was in college. So I literally, dude, I saw all of that happen. Like I can't even count on two hands the times I've like ran into like Chance around the city, or like, you know, anyone from the Chicago hip hop scene. Like I witnessed the rise of all of that. So it was pretty dope. So that also like is pretty inspiring as far as just like conducting business, just really being personable and connecting with the people who support you. Yeah. And then also LeBron, as far as just mindset, because LeBron's my favorite player, dude. And like he has his whole like more than an athlete going. It's kind of similarly in Kanye, where like he does a lot of stuff like off the court as well, that I feel like he's done very, very well with. And he's just like a beast, and I'm just a huge basketball head, so like I just appreciate greatness. But I hope that kind of answers like your question.
Yeah, for sure. I love what you were saying about Kanye, because I never really thought about it that much, but it's so true how he's like gonna call his shots, and then he goes and does it. And I feel like that part of successful people is kind of missing from a lot of them. Like whether it's been beaten out of us with social media, like haters, like there's always going to be someone hating on it, whether it's your own friends or your family. Like family will be like, hey, I love you, just be realistic. Like that's how they do it. And friends will just shit on you because that's how they do. But yeah, like I do think there needs to be more of that. And it sounds like you have a lot of that, where you're like, well, I'm going this way. Like, how are you going to do it? I don't know. I'm going. And then you just go and you do it.
Yeah, I think like I think gymnastics, like, and breaking, but that's kind of taught me a lot about life, because it's like, you know, you try something, it's like you fall, it's like, oh man, it's like, oh well, this move might take a while, and you know, it might kind of hurt when you fall, but it's like, whatever, it's like, let's just do it again. And then it's like, I always was fortunate enough to have like teammates and crewmates who like backed me up. They're like, nah, you got it, like do a couple more, like you'll land it. And then sure enough, it's like you get it. And there's like, you even surprise yourself sometimes at what you're capable of and what you can do. So I think that's really important. Just like encouraging, and it starts from a young age too. I think like developing your, not necessarily your ego, but like your confidence, like as a kid. It's kind of weird and people call me crazy for this, but I think like, I don't know, when I have kids and like, if I train kids and like they kill it, like I tell them to be hype. Like I tell them to like show their parents and show their friends, because so often, like, I don't know about you, but like, I feel like our generation, you're about my age, as we were kids and we were growing up, if we accomplished something, we were told to kind of just like, oh yeah, but just, you know, don't say it, or don't brag about it, and don't, which I get it, which is right, because you don't want to be like an asshole.
But yeah, there's a difference between
time,
humbleness and like,
yes,
you know, like, yeah, shooting yourself down. I get it too. Like people don't, I'm sure people do know, because the only people watching this so far like know me personally, but like me and Jake have both coached, and we'll have kids who are amazing and they think they suck. And I'm like, dude, no, you're freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you can, like, your mobility is like better than mine will ever be in my life. So you could definitely like do this move. Or it's like, you have splits. Like, I'm never going to get splits in my life, but you have them right now and you're 8. So like, you know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. And it's like, and then so often is like, we're told to kind of just like, oh, well, just be nice. It's like, nah, I feel like we need more like hyping ourselves up. I feel like we need more pride in what we do. And we need more just kind of just like we need to be less ashamed in like sharing our successes. And obviously it's like, don't go around just like gloating, like that obviously like makes you an asshole. But like, if someone asks you, it's like, yo, did you do that? It's like, yeah, I did that. Of course I did that. And I did it really, really well. And this is how I did it. And guess what? Next month, I'm going to do this. I feel like we need more of that, because then we'd have more successful people just in the world. And it would kind of just combat this kind of era of just like, kids nowadays, it's like they feel much more anxious, or like, you know, depression is at an all-time high or whatever, especially with social media, because the people who are successful, or maybe they're not even that successful, they just know how to highlight their success. They put that stuff out there, and we only see the successes. Like, people don't put out their failures. They only put out what they got. Like, even myself, it's like, if you just look at what I've done, I only post like, oh, I just was in the Sam Smith Demi Lovato music video. It just came out the other day. Let's go. But I didn't show the countless auditions I went to that I didn't get.
Right on.
And then it's like, by some people's standards, people would be like, you're killing it. You're doing crazy. And I'm like, I'm doing pretty good. Like, I'm doing okay. Like, I wish that I could, you know, do more. And there was more stuff that I wish I could accomplish. But it's like, but people don't know that, because it's like they only see what I put out, because they only see the success. It's like they don't see the behind the scenes. And I feel like that's why a lot of these kids nowadays, they get like kind of hammered down by like, oh, this person is just so good, or like this person looks so good, and like this person like has all of that. But it's like it's like they only show what they want to show.
Yeah.
You don't see everything. And that's why I feel like it's important for us to highlight our success, like whenever it may happen. I feel like it's very important for like self-esteem.
Dude, fuck yeah. Last thing, edit back in. Say you're at a battle, you're somewhere, you're kicking it, people are doing their thing. Some little kid comes up to you, or 10, 12, however old he is, swagged out, Chicago Bulls stuff, and he's like, yo, man, I got some moves. How can I do what you do? I want to grow up. I want to make money at this. I want to make a living dancing. What advice are you giving that kid?
If he says he wants to dance, first off, I'll tell him, okay, you're going to go home and you're going to watch a movie called Beat Street. Watch Beat Street, because that movie like has breaking. That was, I think, the first time that breaking was actually in a movie besides the end credits of Flashdance, that 80s movie. The end credits of Flashdance was the first time breaking was on like a movie screen. But Beat Street and breaking, like, were the first movies like about street dance and like that whole subculture. I'm like, yo, go watch Beat Street, go listen to some 90s hip hop and see if it resonates with you. Like, see if you like it, see if it makes you move. If it does, then I would say try to find either classes or just people in your neighborhood, depending on where he lives. If it was California, I'd point him to a bunch of places that he could just go and practice. Because really, honestly, the way to learn how to dance breaking, at least, and most street dances, is not necessarily in a studio. It's just going and like trying it. And like, at least that's how I learned. But yeah, I would tell him, go watch Beat Street, go listen to 90s hip hop, and then just go try to break. Just go try to find it. Because in that you will find yourself and you'll find out if you really like it. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
For sure, dude. Well, dude, thank you for taking the time to do this. This was really awesome. We got to do it again in the future. But
without a doubt.
Looks like you're burning up in that car, so I'm going to let you go, man. Keep killing it. Best of luck with everything, and I'll talk to you soon, my brother.
Thank you, dog. Appreciate it.
Oh, hey, before I go, if anyone wants to find you, do you want to plug anything?
Oh yeah, just really my Instagram at Juicy Jake the Snake. You can check out the newest Sam Smith and Demi Lovato music video, I'm Ready. Like the last 30 seconds, I'm up in there being a gymnast. Which shout out my gymnastics team, UIC Gymnastics, for making me dope at gymnastics, and so I could use it in real life. Got a good check off of that, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, and shout out to OMH Club, my sponsor, my brand that one of my good friends makes. OMH Club, you can find them on Instagram, my sponsor. That is it.
All right, my brother. You have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.
For sure. Be easy, dog.